Welcome back to Desert Smoke Reviews. This is Justin.
Monty.
Wyatt.
Tonight we're taking a look at the Park Avenue 44 in Maduro. I believe this is made by Gurkha and K. Henosha. I can't say his last name, or so I'm not even going to try that hard. But I do believe it is a Gurkha, one of the lower end ones. But overall, it's a beautiful little big torpedo actually. This comes in with it's a mottled wrapper for me. I've got some really dark spots and then a little bit lighter tan or brown in the area. But overall, it looks good. It's a nice firm pack. Seams are done well, but they are visible. Kind of looking at it, it seems to get almost fatter at the foot and narrower at the cap area, but it just might be me. I can't tell. It's a little lumpy. Of course, it's a hand-rolled cigar, but overall, it looks fine. Looks good. The aroma, I don't really get a lot off the wrapper. I get a little bit of rich tobacco, but really not a lot. And then off the foot, I get kind of a muskiness, like a musky earth, but not really in your face prevalent. Monty.
Yeah, it's a really pretty cigar. The band is a nice gold band, and it's done tastefully. You know, it does add a little class to the whole thing, especially against the dark Maduro wrapper. It does look nice, and like mine was the same as Justin. It's a nice, really firm roll, firm pack, but nothing hard at all about the cigar. It does have that nice toothiness to it, or if you want to call it that fine sandpaper feel to the wrapper. That it just kind of feels good just to hold it. On mine, it does have one visible seam, but it's nice and flat and tight. So to me, it's not a concern. And one really super fine vein. So again, not a concern at all to me, really. And I agree with Justin, there's not a whole lot coming off the wrapper. Just super light, super mild, tobacco off the wrapper, but that's about it. Off the foot, here's where I kind of diverge. I get two things really pronounced to me. A nice dry hay, like a grassy hay, and molasses. And it's not like a sweet, but just a really dark, deep sorghum molasses aroma. If you've never had it, you probably don't know what it is, but it's definitely a nice molasses aroma and dried hay.
Yeah, cool looking stick. I've got one little piece of the wrapper chipped off here, but I think I'll burn right through that. Really, on the aromas, to me the wrapper smells a lot like leather, like old leather. Almost like a pair of shoes you just had for forever. I mean, that's what I get. And then on the foot, see, I was going to say coffee until Monty said molasses, and it's still kind of both to me. I get that dry leather, and then I would prescribe that to like a dry coffee. And that molasses, definitely dark, rich, but predominantly dark. Smells like a cigar. Can't wait to light it up.
Alright, well, cut up and lit up. Savannah. Lots of smoke.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of kind of subtle pepper kind of sitting at the back of my throat.
Yeah, I definitely pick up kind of a dry pepper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me put on myself.
Especially the retro hell as well. But it's still, even with that pepper, it's still relatively smooth. It's not harsh.
I agree. I get a lot of, and I use this term sparingly, but a lot of smoke and a really defined leather off of it.
Yeah, it's like rolled up an old couch and smoked it. That's a bizarre analogy, but
Yeah, that is kind of getting
Yeah.
out there.
That's
I
like
don't
right up
know.
there with dry cleaning.
an old piece of parchment.
Except parchment's not leather.
What? Well, it kind of is. I mean,
No, it's kind of not. It is paper.
old parchment. It used to be leather, like animal skin. I'm not saying this cigar tastes like it. Tastes
Now it
like
tastes like an old animal hide, huh?
it tastes
Pretty
like.
soon it's going to taste like roadkill.
Yeah.
I think
No.
it's a fine start. It's a nice cigar. It's a
Real nice start.
nice draw, not too easy.
Yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying. Why I was just giving you heck. It does have like that very kind of leather and earth kind
Are
of.
you sure it's on the screen? From my angle, it looks like I'm cut halfway too.
Does that look better?
Is that better? It looks better to you when you're up there?
It looked better when you were up there.
Okay.
Sorry, we had technical difficulties. Fuck it, we're gonna do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Tide goes in, tide goes down.
Sun comes up, sun goes down.
Anyway, it's a very good start.
The world goes
Let's get
around.
into the first third. Approach the 10-minute mark. Well, welcome back. We're about 10 minutes into this Park Avenue 44 Maduro. And for me, it's performing really well. The burn's not razor sharp. I did have to do one touch up, but it might have corrected itself. I just get a little antsy. The ash is holding on, but it's not that tight, bright, and white. It's got a little black, and it seems a little flaky. It seems very, very fragile, so I'm probably going to ash here in a second. But it's still very mild to medium. Not a big in-your-face cigar, even though it is a Maduro, but it is very nice. Relatively smooth. A lot of ample smoke. For me, I still get a lot of that, like a dry pepper in the back of my throat. But mostly, it's for me like a, and I guess leather is the best word for it. It's very kind of earthy, kind of sitting in a tack room feel to me. But it's very nice, and so far so good.
Yeah, I really agree. I like this cigar. Like Justin, I've had to touch it up once, but it seems to be doing just fine now. So I do get a lot of that leathery and that almost like a charred oak, like, I don't know. But good smoke. Sorry, I was a little unprepared. I get a nice leather off of it and some coffee notes. Just really dark and rich, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. But I'm really happy with the start of this thing.
Yeah, third on the burn here. Not a great burn. I made a couple of touch-ups, and when I first ashed it, it kind of went out. It relit itself, so no problems there. But other than the burn, it tastes great. Like Monty said, I'm getting a lot of coffee coming in, and there's still kind of. And I'm not a fan of using leather as a taste, just because we've discussed this before. I've never actually sat down and ate a piece of leather.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should. Cut up an old couch, But
Why is it
A whole couch?
an old couch.
But still.
Like aged leather.
I don't want a couch like Keegan was just sitting on.
Well, some
Has
of us have,
it had ranch dressing dripped all over it?
that might
I think
make it
I
a
would
little more
throw off the
savory, yeah.
flavor.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Otherwise, good cigar so far. Really enjoying it.
All right, well, let's get into the halfway point and see if we get any changes. Well, welcome back. We're about halfway. I'm actually a little bit past halfway on this Park Avenue 44 Maduro. And for me, there's not much to update you on. It's keeping very par for the course. I had to do one more touch-up. Ash is holding on, but it's not that pretty white ash. But that's not to say this isn't a good cigar. I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of one-dimensional, but it's not trying to be anything but what it is. And it is a very good knock-around stick. And I just really enjoy it. Still keeping mild to medium in body. Still getting a lot of that, like, I guess leather is the best way to kind of articulate it. But again, as I've said, and why I just said we haven't sucked on a chunk of leather. But it's got a lot of that flavor, and it still gets that pepper. It's getting still a little, it's nowhere near as potent as it was before. It's died down, but it's still definitely there. It drags on that finish, and for me, and it's not overpowering, but it does let you know it's there.
Yeah, I agree. And specifically what Justin just said. For me, the finish has gotten longer as it's gone along, which is fine because I really enjoy this cigar. But there is still a lot of that leather. To me, there's some really super dark, bitter coffee that's kind of come into play, especially on the finish. But to me, I really enjoy this cigar. And a few minutes ago, it started to get off on the burn again, and I just started really paying attention to the way I was holding the cigar, and it's correcting itself, you know, pretty suitably well, pretty quickly. So, again, I'm still really happy with how it's going. So, good to go.
Yeah, agreed. Not sound like a broken record. It's definitely mellowed out for me in the second half. The pepper is picked up for me, especially in the retro hill, but it's not like a powerful pepper. It's still got the same flavors I mentioned earlier. Burn has really corrected itself, and again, I'm well past halfway as well, but good stick.
Well, let's get into the final third, which shouldn't be too long from that. First, Nub Point. Well, welcome back. We're at the Nub Point in this Park Avenue 44 Maduro, and really, this cigar was pretty one-dimensional for me all the way through, but they were good flavors. A lot of that, what we're calling leather, a lot of spice. What I really enjoyed is the finish and the body of the cigar did increase as we got down the cigar. And I like a cigar that gets better. I don't like a cigar that starts good and gets worse. So it has some merit with that. The burn was a little better. I haven't had to touch it up since the last update, but the ash is still, it's a little flaky. It holds on, but it's a little fragile. Overall, I think it's a good kind of everyday knock-around stick. It's not the best for the end of the day, but it could serve the purpose, I guess. I really kind of see this as your afternoon cigar, or maybe even a morning one. I would definitely keep a few of these knocking around in your humidor, and I believe they're relatively cheap. I think if you bought them at the full price and not on one of the bid sites, I think they're still right around $3 a stick. So that's a good deal for a good, solid cigar. If I was going to rate it, I'd give it a solid 7.5. I enjoyed it. I wish it was a little more complex and had a little bit more body to it. It's always kind of mild to medium, but overall, a very good smoke.
I absolutely agree. I think it's a really good cigar, regardless of the price. I think the price that I paid for these makes it even better. I paid $2.50 a piece, which is, you know, chump change for a cigar this good, in my opinion. You know, the burn had to be touched up a couple times, but the last time I thought I was about to, it really corrected itself. It's been a really nice firm ash the whole time. Not quite that, you know, tight, white, and bright that we talk about, but a really nice firm ash on it. And you know, you can tell it's a pretty well rolled cigar, especially for the price. And Justin's right. It became more as it smoked. You know, there's a little more full flavored, if not full body. But it was definitely there. It's never gotten harsh for me at all. As far as the cigar, I think it's a good anytime cigar. You know, I think it's something that's really good, but if you don't want something real heavy at the end of the night, and sometimes I don't, especially if we smoke more than one or two out here at night, I don't need a huge cigar bomb at the end. But any time of the day, I'm good for this cigar. I've smoked a few of them a while back at 8 in the morning, and I was just as happy as could be with it. I'm going to go a little bit better than Justin on this. I'm going to give it an 8 because I really like this cigar.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. The first about an inch and a half had several terrible burn problems, but they really did correct themselves afterwards, and that's always a plus. I do wish it was a little more complex. It started off really good, but after a while you just kind of get used to flavors, and you know, your mind kind of travels, and so that, you know, definitely good flavors. Had that steady coffee and leather taste for me. Nice, rich, dark flavors, and that's like Monty said. You know, at the end of the day, you don't, if you're not in the mood for just this put you right to sleep type of cigar, but just something that's a little more medium bodied and good. This would be good for that. I'm going to agree with Justin. 7.5 is my rating. It's a good cigar if you see it. You know, well worth giving it a shot, trying it out. I know we have the Connecticut version of this too, and I can't wait to try that one.
Well, in conclusion, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. Until next time, smoke 'em if you got 'em.